I still cannot believe this is happening. Hello everyone and welcome to the best affordable sports car to ever exist, the new Mazda MX-5. Well, the new Mazda MX-5 is offered in soft top and also the hard top variant, and the one that I'm reviewing is the soft top, and there are three different variants in this soft top version. So there is a GS, GSP and the GT variant, whereas the GSP and the GT variant are offered in 6-speed manual and 6-speed automatic, whereas the GS variant comes in just the manual version. And the particular model that I'm reviewing is the GSP, but it's also got the sport package, and not just a random sport package where they've just added some extra designed bumpers and blacked out stuff or anything, but actually performance enhancer bits. So let me begin with the front, and I want to be very quick because I actually want to take you all on a drive because this car is all about that. So in the front you have this grille, then the splitter at the bottom, these LED headlights inside which there are LED DRLs also, and there are turn signals on the edge, Mazda badging, and underneath this sits a 2-liter 4-cylinder Skyactiv G engine, which is mated to a 6-speed manual transmission, and the engine actually sits somewhere halfway, and then this is just the extension because this car is actually such a tiny car. It's like a go-kart for the roads. Now this MX-5 is a convertible, so let me start by showing you the convertible bit about this car. It's a very straightforward thing to do on this. So pull this lever, the windows roll down slightly, and then give this thing a tap and it's locked in place. Now we have a convertible small car version, and the only thing about this convertible roof is that when you put it up, these windows don't roll up, so I have to switch on the ignition, put the windows up, and then sort of get away from the car, because even if you lock, sometimes with most of the convertibles, if you even lock it, the windows roll up, but not on this one. But doesn't matter. Now on this there are 17-inch gunmetal finish BBS wheel along with Brembo brakes on the inside and Bilstein dampers on the inside, which is why I said there is like proper sport package given on this. It comes with a rear wheel drive. All, in fact, MX-5s just come with the rear wheel drive, and look how tiny this is. In fact, let me just walk 1, 2, 3 and 4 steps. That's about it. When you come to the side mirror, this is a black color side mirror, glossy one, and it's a non-power foldable side mirror. It's got the blind spot warning on the inside. It's also power adjustable, and that's about it. We come to these doors. These are keyless entry doors, and look at how tiny the windows are. They are absolutely tiny. In fact, when you sit on the inside, you would realize, because you really sit on the rear axle on this thing. Like, look at the seats where they end and where the center of this wheel starts, and in the back a very smooth and flowing lines on this MX-5. In fact, if I want to just put the roof up again, I'll just flick this and then put it and lock it from the inside. Now in the back, full set of LED tail lights, turn signals, reverse lights, brake lights, everything is in LED. MX-5 badging, Mazda badging, Skyactiv G badging, a very simpler design. At the bottom, if you see, twin exhaust tubes, very simple, no chrome and all of that, just straightforward metal pipes sticking out, and an antenna given in the back. And in terms of the visibility, it's all right because this car is so short in the rear, so when you look at it from the rear view glass, it feels like the car that is following you is right behind your back. It's that close. And now if you thought that this car is tiny, so it wouldn't have any trunk space, there is a lot of trunk space. Not a lot, but I mean decent amount of trunk space, not the class leading trunk space, but there is something provided to put inside. So press the button which is given on the right side on the edge, and it opens the trunk space, so you can put 130 liters of luggage in the back. There are also rubber mats with the MX-5 badging given in the back and also on the inside. Also, there is no spare wheel on this, but there is a tire repair kit provided along with a compressor. There is also a trunk light. But in order to show you how much is the space, let me jump inside and show you the actual space on the inside, which is not too bad. Like half of me can fit inside, although you cannot close it, and then coming out is a bit of a struggle, but yes. So that's the proper demonstration of the trunk space on the inside of this MX-5, and then slam it and close it. Welcome on the inside of the MX-5. First, again, let me do the same procedure and lower down the windows, and you might have gone down a little bit because these windows just opened up, and let some sunlight and fresh air come into this cabin. So let me begin first with the material quality. It's plastic out here, it's soft material. On the door cards, if you see on the top bit, it's the body colored plastic, but on the sides you're going to be resting hands as leather covered. Near the switches, it's like the carbon fiber plastic trim given around the switches. Around this center tunnel there is soft material. These seats are one of the best because these are the Recaro seats with Napa leather and Alcantara, and not just that, there's more to it because there's Bose music system, 9 speakers from that, and the speakers are also mounted on the inside of the headrest too. So yeah, lots of things, but anyways, I'm just gonna gloss over all the things that are provided on the inside. So the material quality is pretty good for a small tiny sports car. Now when you come to the driver's display, straightforward gauges are given, whereas in the GT spec there is also a screen provided in the center, but on this one there is a screen provided on the edge, and I like this setup because in the center there is rev counter and on the right side there is speedometer. The left side counter information can be changed using the button on the steering wheel. Press that, trip A, trip B, then the lane keep assist, and then the compass, and then if there are any notifications, that's about it. Steering wheel is leather covered steering wheel. It's also adjustable, tilt and telescopic both. Yes, so even that is possible. Then there are buttons given on the right side for the adaptive cruise control, and on the left side for the driver's display to change that, and also the media controls. So yes, that is your steering wheel. Now we come to the air conditioning controls. Straightforward dials are provided for the air conditioning. Switch it on and off, adjust the fan and single zone air conditioning system, so adjust the temperature and also the flow of air. At the bottom there are heated seat buttons, so the driver and the passenger side seat is both heated seats, and round vents given around the driver, whereas one rectangularish sort of angular vent given in the middle, and again round vent on the other side of the passenger. Now we come to the infotainment screen. This is an 8.8-inch infotainment screen. The controls are given out here near the physical handbrake, so you get a proper handbrake on this MX-5. When was the last time you saw a proper handbrake on a sports car? So the dials that is given here also acts like a joystick, so you can see all the information on the screen. But the thing is that when I'm trying to change gears, I've accidentally flicked the joystick, and probably because I wear the watch on my right hand, so it keeps flicking that dial, and then I keep sort of pressing random buttons on this thing. But yes, very straightforward information go in the inside: fuel efficiency monitor, vehicle status monitor, then the entertainment, then there is all connectivity options. So in terms of the connectivity, connect to this infotainment system using Bluetooth, USB, then there is wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay option. Go back, then we have the communication when the phone is connected, SMS, phone, your phone list and everything, dialing list, then the inbuilt navigation system. Yeah, you need to add an SD card inside this, so the SD card slot is given here. You put that SD card with the inbuilt maps, and then you can use that. Otherwise it just shows you the latitude, longitude and the altitude on the screens. Then the detail settings in vehicle displays, adjust display off, all of that, contrast, so many different options. Then the sound settings, as I said, there is 9 speaker Bose music system provided on this MX-5. Inside this tiny little space, 9 speakers. It sounds incredible, and the best part is that even when the roof is lowered down, you can still hear the sound so crystal clear. And it's also got the active noise cancellation, so that same Bose music system is used for that also. Then the safety systems and the vehicle settings, the detailed vehicle settings on the inside, and the connectivity settings and the system settings, and that's about it. And then if there are any notifications, flick it on the left side. Right now it's showing me the vehicle service interval is approaching, and if you want to switch to Android Auto, flick it on top, or Apple CarPlay, then flick it at the bottom. There's also a volume dial and all the buttons for home, navigation and everything. Quick buttons are given too. Now one thing to mention is that this interior actually is quite tiny. When you sit inside, you're quite snuggled inside the entire cockpit, and which is a good thing for a sport car. But from the outside, if you may think that this car is very tiny, it wouldn't offer you a lot of space, but you will be wrong, because there is proper space for two adults. Like, it's just that when the roof is put up, then someone above 6 feet will start brushing their heads against the ceiling. But keep the roof open, and then let the fresh air come in. Although I don't know about the winters, but yes, you can still enjoy, like today, like a pleasant day. Keep the roof down, and then now when you come to the seats, so the seats are the Recaro sports seats with Napa leather on the edge and Alcantara in the middle, and these are one of the finest seats, sports seats, that you will sit into, because they offer so much amount of support on the sides and even at the bottom, and also there is adjustability and everything. And then, as I said, there are also speakers given in the headrest, the Bose music system, and underneath my thigh there is good amount of support. In the back there is very good. It just holds you so well, especially during the corners. You can feel like these seats are gripping you very well. Now, so the driver's side seat is 6-way, manually adjustable. You can even adjust the tilting of the bottom rest, whereas the passenger side seat is just 4-way, manually adjustable. There is also a deflector panel given in the back, so that when the rooftop is down, there is not much wind pushing around the back, so it's to break that effect in the back. Now, in terms of the space, so there's not much space, to be honest, inside this MX-5, because in the door cars there is no cup holders or anything. There's just one tiny space underneath the air conditioning control, so put your phones, and there is also one more storage here to put your keys, center storage. Then there are these two cup holders. These two cup holders also are removable, so you can remove them, and I don't know where will you put them, because there's no glove box in this. And there is a small tiny storage given in the back of this center tunnel, where you can put your manuals and papers and stuff for your wallets. So that's about it in terms of the storage. Now, there's also an SOS button provided for emergency purposes, and because this is a soft top variant, so when the fabric roof is folded up, and this is a waterproof roof also, but there's quite a lot of noise from behind, which is quite evident when you are driving. So the front, in the windshield, there is not much. Even around these windows there is nothing. It's just on the edges, and plus because it's a roof, so a lot of noise can penetrate into the cabin. But nonetheless, there is that 2-liter engine that keeps you entertained all the time. Now, on this MX-5 GSP variant, there is a DSC track mode that is provided, which is the dynamic stability control track mode. So you press that button long and it switches the car into that, and it actually makes this car a proper mental driving machine. After that, we go on the drive, and I'm gonna show you that. And speaking of the drive, it's time to go for the thing that I've been waiting for the most. Well, here is the most important bit that matters, the driving, because MX-5 is all about the driving experience, and so far it's delivering plentiful of it. So this thing is powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder Sky Active G engine, non-turbocharged, just NA engine that produces 181 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. And this engine is mated to a 6-speed manual transmission, and one of the best transmissions, to be honest, because there's going to be lots of silly sort of actions from me from this video, but just please bear with me. So yes, and I'll just keep getting distracted slightly ever so. So continuing, this is a rear wheel drive. There's also a limited slip differential given in the back, and everything just works so well on this car. There is nothing unlike this car anywhere that you will find any other sports car, because it's such a small little nimble thing, and it just is rapid. Now, my speedometer says that I can go up to 240 kilometers, but it doesn't matter, because in this car even a 50 or maybe 70 feels like doing 140, and then the engine and the transmission is just rapid. The power delivery on this thing is just, it's always so hungry. It's just, oh my god, I just keep bending the camera. As you see, it's that powerful. But yes, yeah, so yes, the power delivery is just so direct. It's just so raring to go all the time. Put the foot down and then it just accelerates, and then I'm just doing 60, but with this being open and so low down, it's just making you feel like you're just going so fast. And this is really like a go-kart for the roads, because in front of me there is a very long bonnet, but in the rear it's a very shorter extension after that. So I am literally sitting, as I said, on the axle. So when I am steering this car, because the steering on this thing is just excellent, so well calibrated, it's like turning from a pivot, you know, like you're just sitting in the back and then the car is just moving in front of you. So it's that sort of setup, and amazing steering on this thing. Then the suspensions, even that, so it's got the Bilstein dampers. It's a lot on the harder side, I will say. Or actually, let me just put this into the DSC track mode, and yeah, just don't do that on the roads. I am doing because I have had some experience driving this thing for a while, so I can predict what sort of behavior it's gonna do, and it's just rapid after that. It's very responsive. Everything is just so dialed up after that once you put it in the DSC mode. And oh, look at this, I was kind of tailing out from here. Yeah, it does tend to do that also because of it being the rear wheel drive, but the limited shift differential takes care of all of it after that. So again, I just keep getting distracted from the fact. So this 2-liter engine, let me tell you how efficient this is, because end of the day you're going to be daily driving this car also, maybe, yes. So on a longer journeys, about 5.1 liter per 100 kilometers, up to that much. And within the city, I have been managing to get around 8 to 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is just an excellent economy, honestly, for a sports car category. Now, as I said, I've put this car into the track mode, DSC track mode, and the response is just amazing. The throw on this gear shifter, well, this gear shifter is one of the best things that you will touch inside this car or interact, because it's at such a convenient position, very short throw, and the clutch bite point is very easy to guess. And this thing comes with 3 pedals, so don't be surprised when you drive this thing. So yes, yeah, I wasn't in the right gear, but if I put it, yeah. And also it keeps suggesting me the gears in the center screen, so you know, if you want to change or ever, if you're going wrong and you don't understand why the power isn't coming, then yes, this is there. It's just that this car is so crude, so direct, and it's just got very less interference from the electronics that you find these days on so many cars. So this thing is just absolutely direct. The suspensions, the steering, everything just works very well. And plus the fact that this thing is a top down, and the weight distribution on this thing is 50:50. 50:50. And when you drive it, you can actually feel it. The chassis is so good underneath this. And even though this is a convertible, but it's just so stiff enough that it doesn't wobble, or there is no chassis wobbling, because most of the times convertibles do tend to feel like a boat. But on this, yeah, it doesn't. Now, some of these harder bumps that I am encountering here, yeah, that is a bit too much sometimes, especially with these sport seats. And these Recaro seats, again, they offer just so much of support around. Although yes, for the track, this thing is just well prepared. You just go directly raw with this car and just attack that track. And in terms of the brakes, as I said, there are Brembo brakes in the front, and the performance from that is phenomenal. There is just so much of confidence from these brakes. And yeah, there's not much to say, because the brakes are excellent and precise, to be honest. Now, when it comes to The noise and the vibrations, there's not much actually. I'm surprised because in the front is actually very, very quiet, and also to do with the fact that there's an active noise cancellation. There's just noise from behind when the roof is up. Right now, of course, because the roof is down, there's quite a lot of noise. But yes, there's no better feeling than, you know, air flowing above your head, and on a bright, crisp, warm day like this, it's just a fantastic little car. In terms of the safety system, so there are 4 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, and 2 side airbags for the driver and the passenger. There is also a single camera reversing system. Then there is the blind spot warning, and there is also the adaptive cruise control. All of that is provided on this. But at the end of the day, these are not sort of things that you decide to buy this car for. The reason that you want to buy this car is because this car is just fantastic. It's just a driving pleasure. If you really want to experience what driving is, you really need to drive this car. You absolutely have to drive this car. So I always wonder what the fuss was about when you drive an MX-5, but when you actually drive it, you do realize, like, yeah, it's such a raw machine. There is nothing that can absolutely fill what this car can do. The learning curve that you need for this car is absolutely very small. You can immediately learn this car, how it handles, how it drives, how it feels. It's just very direct, man and machine. This is the sort of thing you want. It's like this car is built around me, you know, and I know this car, even though I've just barely driven it for a few 100 kilometers, yet I can still understand this car very well. When it comes to the pricing, so the base variant, which was the GS, comes in at $32,900, whereas this variant, which is the GSP, comes in at $38,900, and the top one, which is the GT, comes at $42,000. And for the price, this thing is unbeatable, because as I said, this is one of the most affordable sports cars and one of the fantastic. In fact, up till now, everyone keeps asking me which is the top car that I've ever driven, because I've driven many cars over the years, and this thing is easily the top car that I've driven. I know this is a sport car, I know this is not a family car, but yes, in terms of the best car that I've driven, it is easily this one. Now, these days, you know, I'm glad that this sort of machine exists, because in the world of EVs, where it's just, yeah, not much to offer, it's, yes, there's power, there's torque, but there's nothing like this sensation of feeling the speed. And this car lets you feel the speed. It lets you feel sort of emotions. Currently, yes, my eyes are sort of wetting, and somewhere else also that I am wetting, but yeah, it is true. But yes, that's the sensation that these sort of cars are meant to give you. Whoops, again the camera is bent. Yeah, it's a bit harsh, the ride, and that's why it's happening. But yes, continuing, in the world of EVs nowadays, there are cars like these that I'm glad still exist, and I'm glad that Mazda has still chosen to keep the MX-5 alive and keep it raw, keep it untouched. The moment you drive, it puts an instant smile on you. You're having a rough day, you're having a bad day, drive this car and instantly see your mood change, because this car is very capable of doing that for you. Just take a drive. I've been doing that every single day in this car, and every time it's just put a smile on my face. I'm just gonna be so sad to give this car back. If you ever get a chance to drive an MX-5, just take that chance, go for it and drive it, because trust me, you are not gonna regret the fact that you drove this car. And in fact, you're gonna have lots of excitement, lots of thrills, and lots of amazing memories in this MX-5. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope this video was, yeah, enjoyable, and in a way to help you understand what this car is. Because if you have a dream of owning some pretty good cars, make sure to add this car into that list while it exists. So press that thumbs up button if you've liked this video, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care, and drive safe.